Welcome all. Now we are going to be doing the last section of chapter 7, which is 7, 8, improper integrals. So all the integrals that we have seen so far from 7, 1 through 7, 7, they are all proper integrals where there is no discontinuity or the limits are definite limits. In this section, we are going to see two types of improper integrals and why they are called improper integrals, what types they are, and how do we evaluate such integrals is what we are going to see. Um, we extend the concept of a definite integral to the case where the interval is infinite or the case where f has infinite discontinuity on the closed interval ab. In either case, it is said to be an improper integral. Either the interval over which you integrate is something like this 1 through infinity. The interval over which you integrate the function is infinite interval, that is type 1 improper integral. It could be like this, or it could be something like 1 over x minus 3, and you have 3 through infinity dx, or 3 through, or you can even have something like negative 2 to 5, let's say. Then you have a discontinuity for the function 3, which falls between negative 2 and 5. So if there is a discontinuity in the interval of integration, that is type 2 improper integral, type 1, the interval of integration should be infinite. Interval is infinite. And there is a discontinuity of f of x over the interval of integration. So in either case, it's type 1 or type 2 improper integrals. So let's first find out how to integrate an infinite interval integral types, improper integrals over infinite intervals. So type 1 is infinite intervals. So let's consider the familiar function, which is y equal to 1 over x square. And we are going to be considering only 1 through infinity. So we are only looking at the right-hand side part of the function 1 over x square. You know that actually 1 over x square graph is going to be on either side, but we are not interested on the left-hand side because the interval begins at 1. So consider the infinite region S that lies under the graph y equal to 1 over x square. So we know that integral is area under the graph of a function. So we are going to consider 1 through t. So consider the infinite region that lies under the curve y equal to x square above the x-axis and to the right of the line x equal to 1. So we are going to find out that area. We are going to find out only up to the value t. So area, we are going to write that as a of t because it depends on the value of t. Integral 1 to t 1 over x squared dx. We are considering the area starting from 1 up to t. Area under the graph of the function 1 over x squared starting from 1 and ending up to t. That's integral 1 to t 1 over x squared dx. If you integrate that, it would be negative 1 over 1 minus x, negative 1 over x between the limits 1 and t. So if you plug in the upper limit and subtract the lower limit, you're going to get 1 minus 1 over t. So if I extend up to t, if I give a value for t or I move the t on the positive x-axis, to the right of 1, then as limit as t approaching infinity a of t would be limit as t approaching infinity 1 minus 1 over t. So if I plug in t equal to infinity here, it is 1 over infinity, which is 0. The value becomes 1. So area under the graph of the function 1 over x square, um, which start under the function but bounded by x equal to 1 up to t being equal to infinity, this becomes value equal to 1. So though t goes up to infinity, but the area is only finite, which is equal to 1, which is surprising, isn't it? So integral 1 through infinity 1 over x squared dx is limit as t approaching infinity integral 1 to t. You treat like a regular definite integral problem, but t is approaching infinity here. 1 over x squared dx equal to 1. So even though graphically it looks like an infinite area, but it's not actually an infinite area. This is a finite area whose value is equal to 1. So looking deeper into this idea, this concept, so if you notice here, if you look at the area between 1 and 2, under the graph of the function 1 over x square, so if you go from here, if you go up to t, area of t is 1 minus 1 over t. So up to t, it's 1 minus 1 over t. So up to 2, it's 1 minus 1 over 2. So it is 1 minus 1 half, which is equal to 1 half. That's how you get the area 1 half. So it is, if you go up to 3, as a of t equal to 1 minus 1 over t, and now we have to plug in 3, so 1 minus 1 over 3, so you get the value to be equal to 2/3. The area up to 5 is 1 minus 1 over 5, which is equal to 4 over 5. So A of t is considered to be area so far function. So we notice that integral 1 over x square 1 to t. So what you understand here is if you have to determine 1 through infinity of 1 over x squared dx, we know that value is equal to 1, but the way we have to do the problem is that you have to allow t to approach infinity and then treat this like a definite limit problem, definite integral problem, integral 1 to t 1 over x squared dx, which turned out to be equal to 1 in this particular case. Now let's see how we define an improper integral of type 1. So integral, if a to t fx dx exists for every real number t more than or equal to a, then integral a to infinity fx dx equal to limit as t approaching infinity, limit as t approaching infinity, integral a to t fx dx. So an improper integral problem, you cannot substitute infinity as it is, just the way you would do normal, regular, definite integral problem. You have to make one little step here, you have to make it up to t, and then allow t to approach infinity, provided the limit exists as a finite number, because it's everything, because we are writing this integral in terms of limit, the limit should exist. B, if integral t to b fx dx exists for every real number t less than or equal to b, then integral if negative infinity to b fx dx, um, integral negative infinity to b fx dx equal to limit as t approaching negative infinity. So there is a negative infinity occurring in the lower limit. So you have to write the lower limit as t to b fx dx. provided this limit exists. Remember that t is smaller than b because it's lower limit and upper limit is b. The improper integrals a to infinity fx dx and negative infinity to b fx dx are convergent if the corresponding limit exists and divergent if the limit does not exist. If both integral a to infinity fx dx and negative infinity to a fx dx are convergent, then we define negative infinity to positive infinity, integral negative infinity to positive infinity, fx dx equal to integral negative infinity to a fx dx plus integral a through infinity fx dx. In this case, where a is a number in part C, any real number a can be used. It's a number between negative infinity and positive infinity. Imagine that you have negative infinity here and positive infinity here, and you have a number a here. So we are writing the first integral from negative infinity to a and second integral from a through infinity. We'll see example 1. Determine whether the integral 1 through infinity 1 over x dx convergent or divergent. So reminding yourself that the integral is said to be convergent if the limit exists as a finite number. If the limit does not exist, it is said to be divergent. So we are going to determine whether this integral 1 through infinity 1 over x dx is convergent or divergent. Now first, before we do the problem, we'll identify what type of integral is this. What type is this? So integral 1 through infinity 1 over x dx is first of all improper. It is improper because it is over an infinite interval, because it is over at an infinite interval. One through infinity. But the lower limit is 1, upper limit is infinity. It is also of type 1 because it is over an infinite interval. Right. Next, we want to evaluate this. Step 2 is to evaluate this integral. So in order to evaluate this integral, we'll call this integral as I, integral 1 through infinity, 1 over x dx. We want to write the way like improper integral is written, the integral t through infinity, integral 1 through t, because wherever the infinity is, that must be replaced by t, and then you have to allow t to approach infinity. 1 over x dx. Now, keeping the limit unchanged, limit as t approaching infinity, integral of 1 over x is ln of absolute x between 1 through 1 and t. So it is limit t approaching infinity, ln of t, ln of absolute t minus ln of 1. ln of 1 is 0 and ln of t is approaching infinity, so this will be equal to infinity. If this, because the limit value turns out to be infinity, the integral 1 through infinity, 1 over x dx is said to be divergent. So earlier when we did integral 1 over x square, we found that value to be equal to 1, which is convergent because it's a definite value. It's a finite value. The integral 1 through infinity 1 over x squared dx is convergent, whereas integral 1 over x dx is divergent. In terms of graphs, they will be kind of similar to each other, but one is one area. When we say integral, it's a area. One area seems to be infinite, one area seems to be finite. The limit does not exist as a finite number, so the integral is divergent. So when you compare the two integrals, one is convergent, the other one is actually divergent. 1 over x dx, integral 1 through infinity, is divergent. But in terms of graph, they look similar. In 1 over x square is the first graph. The second graph is 1 over x. In our eyes, they look kind of similar, but one is finite area, the other one is infinite area. So I'll show the next few examples in my next part of the video. This is part A. This particular video is part A of concepts in 7-8. The next part will be called part B.